Hi, I'm Susie, and today I just wanted to talk a little bit about finding joy. There's different times in our life where it feels easy to say that we've got joy. We feel happy, it's good times, we've perhaps had a good holiday, or we've had a nice time at work and we feel like we're succeeding, we're having good times with our family and our relationships are good. But there are other times when we're really struggling, battling through, whether it's with illness or anxiety, a relationship breakdown, just stress and just the wear and tear of daily living, and we actually find ourselves thinking, "Do you know what, I'm really lacking in joy and I'm finding it really tough." And one of the things I would say is, God is for you. One of the verses that I've really clung to the last couple of years is from Psalm 46 verse 1, and it is, "God is my refuge, a very present help in trouble." And sometimes, if it's, an illness and we're stuck at hospital, or we're at home and we're too anxious to get out, we can feel really alone because we're by ourselves. But actually, we're not alone. We're not alone. Even if you are physically alone, you're not alone. God is there. He's very present and He wants to be that refuge that we run into. So that's the first thing. God is for you. He's a very present help in your trouble. And the second thing is God is able. Sometimes we can get overwhelmed by situations, discovering that someone's got cancer or losing a loved one. These are a shock to us. It unsettles us. It's the first time we've been through this situation, perhaps. We've never been unemployed before. We've never lost a house before. We've never lost a loved one before. These are new to us, but they're not new to God. There's nothing that's new to Him. There's nothing that can shock or shake Him. He has endured through time, and He is still there and He's still able. And so the verse really that comes to mind there is again from Psalm 46 verse 10, and it's, "Be still and know that I am God." And so even in different trials and challenges, just know that God is still there. God is still God, and He doesn't change due to circumstance. I think the next thing I would say, it comes from the book of Nehemiah, and Nehemiah is someone whose heart was really broken about the state of his nation Israel at the time. So they are in exile, and he wants to see that restoration and to rebuild the city walls. And whilst he's trying to rebuild the city walls, they're under attack. There are people who are negative about the project. There are people who are opposing the project, and his builders are building with tools in one hand and a sword in the other, and it's this kind of crazy thing. And I think sometimes when we're in these journeys, whether it's through illness or through stress, or trying to buy a house, or trying to maybe have a family, whatever it is, it's like an ongoing project. And sometimes people speak negatively into the situation and it really knocks us, and sometimes there's outright opposition to what we want to achieve and that knocks us. And Nehemiah, there's this beautiful verse, chapter 8 verse 10, it says, "The joy of the Lord is your strength." And it's an odd connection at first to me, like a connection between joy and strength, because like one's a feeling that you sort of think of like happy feeling, but joy is more than that. And how does that connect to strength? But actually, when you're in a project, or you're in a season, or you're going through an illness or whatever, a grief, you feel weak, and you need to keep yourself strong, and you need to keep yourself sort of steeled and purposeful to keep going. And if that was reliant on our own happiness, on our own joy, on us manufacturing that, we're going to run out. But actually, what the verse in Nehemiah is saying is it's in His joy. It's God's joy. And God's joy doesn't run out. God's joy isn't shakeable. God's not scared of any opposition that comes. God's not scared by any negativity that comes. His joy is a permanent resource that we can call on. And Paul, in his letter to the Philippians, says, "Rejoice in the Lord." And that joy we will find in the Lord. And as we come to Him and we make ourselves present with Him, He comes alongside us and He will give us His joy, and that will be our strength. And so even though we might start feeling overwhelmed, and we might start feeling weak, and we might start feeling that we just can't go on, actually when we come into His presence, He will give us His joy, and that will be our strength to carry on. And the final thing is from 2 Corinthians 12:9. My grace is sufficient. My strength is made perfect in weakness. And I think, again, it's sort of one of these funny things, like we want to be strong. We kind of have these ideas, I need to be strong, I need to be able to cope, I need to be able to do this. But actually, it comes from God. In our weakness, He is strong. And we don't have to have it all together. And that's what I love about the cross. And just this morning, like a devotional came through about the cross, and I just got on my knees, really. And I think, when we feel overwhelmed, we just need to recognise that none of it's in our own strength. The cross is the great equaliser. Whatever we've done, we've all fallen short of God. None of us is perfect. All of us are weak. And yet we come to Him at the cross and we exchange all of that weakness for His strength. And there's such power in the cross. And as we come to the cross and receive His grace and His mercy, it's all we need. And we can feel overwhelmed at times, and it's okay to not be okay. And I sort of find it easier if someone else comes to me to kind of reel off these verses and to give them encouragement and to say, keep going, you're doing really great, and to help them to be kind to themselves. And yet it's so much harder for me. So I kind of hope that you can reflect on these sort of 4 thoughts and these 4 verses, and that you can absorb those truths and, know that you can find joy in Him, and know that you don't have to be perfect. Know that you are going to have moments where you feel weak. But as you come into His presence, He wants to exchange that for His joy. And as you receive His joy, you will have strength and you will get through the next part of the challenge. So I hope you've enjoyed what I've had to say today. Do let me know if there's any other thoughts of things that you'd like me to talk about and to share about. You can do that in the comments section, and subscribe to see other videos. Thank you.